So I've just stuck the drill bit in there temporarily to act as my hinge pin until I get this the right height and the right size, and then I'm going to mark the inside because that will give me the spot where I need to cut a notch, and it'll give me the area where I can cut the ring off. So we just take our drill bit out, slip this out. So now, a couple of mil longer than this is the height, and then on the other side of this is the notch where it'll clip into the ring base. Now, we could use a pillar file, but what I'm going to do is just cut a notch in here with my saw. Because it only needs to be 0.9 thick, and we'll file a slight angle on there because it may need help finding the hole. And what we want is for it to click in there, like that. So now we're ready to assemble this thing. So I've just stuck a piece of 1 millimeter wire in there. It's sterling, half hard, and what we want is to have our ring so that it just snaps in. So that's it. Nice and simple. Plenty of room up underneath our stone for the end of our ring shank to go in. And you just have to squeeze it to get it to release. Now this is work hardened because I've rolled 1 millimeter round wire down to 2 millimeters square, and it hasn't been annealed since it's been worked, so it's work hardened. It's nice. It has a nice amount of tension. So now I can set the rivet, and the rivet just needs to be half the thickness of the wire sticking out either side, so 0.5 of a millimeter sticking out either side. And I'll just cut this with my saw, because with this clipped into place, we're holding tension on the wire. And just be careful that you don't touch the bottom of your ring. And I'll just hold this so that it doesn't turn. And then I'll push that through and just file it with the number 2 cut flat hand file, the safe edge of the file down against the ring. And we just want that nice and flat. If you're unsure, a little bit of masking tape on the ring, and still with the safe side of the file down. And I'm holding the rivet on the other side with my thumbnail just to make sure it doesn't slide back through. And you can see the small amount that the rivet is sticking through. So now we're going to set the rivet. We're just going to use a small hammer, a riveting hammer, on our steel block. I'll just turn this so you can see. So just a few taps on that side, turn it over. We just want to set the rivet, but we don't want it so tight that this doesn't work. So that's good. So now we're ready to tidy this up, polish it, and set the stone. And you can see here that I didn't quite sand the solder back. And this is what happens if you don't. You'll get tarnish on the solder. So if you see these marks, tidy them up now before we set the stone. I just chuck this in the tumbler for a few minutes, give it a quick shine. Now put a 1 millimeter thick spacer on the inside, and it's not soldered. It just fits around the inside, and the tension is holding it in place. And I'm going to put this in my bench vise to set it. Now, when we clamp it in the vise, we have to be careful not to clamp our hinge. Otherwise, it'll bend it. So, just going to slip our shell in. And I'm going to just push the bezel over using a bezel rocker. So just work your way all the way around, and once the bezel is against the stone, or is in this case shell, then we'll take a burnisher to it. So I've gone all the way around, push this down at a 45-degree angle, and now I'm just going to hold it in my fingers and smooth the edge with the burnisher, and you can see that little shiny spot on the top is where I've rubbed it. And what this is going to do, it's going to smooth, harden, and polish all at the same time. And when you've gone all the way around, you'll be able to just look and see if it's polished all the way around. It's basically done. So there's our ring with the hinge, which should make it easier to put on. And a nice little click. So there you go. And to take it off, you just push on the side and lift. Now, there's a purpose in doing this way, because when you're wearing it, you'll tend to push that over against the catch. And you actually have to push against your finger to be able to release it. So that's the prototype, and I'm quite liking it. I'm happy with it.